What's up, guys? It's Showtime's Fight Forum. You already know what it is. This is your boy Showtime, and we have a very action-packed episode. There's a lot to talk about, a lot to break down, both in the boxing and in the MMA world. You already know, like I said, we talk all things fights, and make sure you subscribe, like, comment, and all that good stuff, and follow me on social media at Showtime Sanders. So I kind of want to hurry up and get into it because this is probably going to run a little longer than I really want to, but there is a lot to talk about. So I want to first start this off with boxing. Okay, so there's two fights, one really big fight, and then another fight that's, you know, it wasn't really big, but it's a bigger name, and that kind of fell off, and that is Adrien Broner. So Adrien Broner was supposed to go against Omar Figueiredo this weekend in Showtime Boxing. No relation. And unfortunately, we just found out that Adrien Broner is pulling out the fight. And it's no injury, but there's a mental health issue. It's kind of similar to, well, actually it's the exact same thing that Ryan Garcia did, except for I don't think Ryan Garcia did it anywhere near the actual fight, whereas this is literally the week of the fight. So, you know, I know Showtime's really disappointed, but at the end of the day, he's checking out for his mental health. So I kind of want to had an episode years ago about this, which was about the Olympic gold medalist and Simone Biles pulled out for mental health, and other people pulled out for mental health for a different sport. And I'm saying how it's going to be interesting to see how that affects fighters. You know, anxiety, and we already know mental health has been like rampant. Like, it's a big thing that everyone's mentioning and breaking up. And this isn't new. Like, mental health has been a thing since the beginning of time, but now it's been a special focus to it, to the point there's even a career for sports psychologists. So now, I've always had two sides to the coin when it comes to the mental health. Whereas I understand, like, if it's a depression and to the point of, you know, you want to off yourself, you want to kill yourself, things of that nature, I'm 1000% for you not fighting. I'm for you not competing. At the end of the day, that's a serious method that you need to get help for, because at the end of the day, if you lose, who say you get knocked out, that's not gonna help your depression. It makes you, if anything, want to, you know, do it even more. And if you do bad in any other competition. So I completely understand anybody pulling out if you have any kind of depression when it comes to that. Now, there is ones I'm not as lenient with. Panic attacks, anxiety, these are things I suffer with, and I suffered it so bad I actually did end up in a hospital for these things. So I'm not trying to downplay it. I've been through it before. I understand it's tough. However, life is tough. You're gonna go through tough situations, and you have to fight through it. And that doesn't mean that you just necessarily quit. You pull out and things of this nature. So I do think there's levels and there's ways to this, but the only person that really knows about this is Adrien Broner. So I'm not gonna sit here and grill him for it, say he's a punk, that he should do this, that, and the third. I'm gonna tell you right now, like, if you want to, like, man to man, man to woman, whoever listening, I 1000% believe Adrien Broner has mental health issues. There's no way you don't follow, if you followed this man in the past, what, 7, 8 years of his career, there's no way you have not noticed there is some kind of mental health issues with this man. It's been going for a while, realistically. The reason why he hasn't reached his pedestal of how good he possibly could have been is because of his mental health. So I'm not gonna sit here and knock him for it. The guy does have personal issues. I don't know him, but you can tell this man does. He does a lot of sporadic things. He says and does a lot of crazy things, and the reason why it comes off as crazy is because mental health isn't there. All right. I mean, I've said it on record that I thought he was the second funniest athlete in the world. Jameis Winston being the first, and there's no debate. Jameis Winston is the funniest human being that's ever laced on football, anything. He is hilarious. But I always said Adrien Broner was a 2. And the reason why is because he does a lot of funny and says a lot of funny stuff. But at the same time, it's been kind of to the point where it's like, all right, man, like, what's wrong with him? Is he okay? Like, I remember years ago, he also made a post about him wanting to kill himself. So, like I said, as I've said, I find him funny. There is a serious nature, and I really do hope that he gets the help that he needs. And I hope that money is not an issue, because if you also follow him, you know that he spends a lot of his money on stupid stuff like partying, like tours and things that he should have never done. And at one point, I think he did claim that he was broke and fighting check to check, which he shouldn't have been because he was making millions. So, I mean, at the end of the day, he put himself in these situations, but I'm happy that he's pulling out, and I hope that he gets the help that he really deserves. There's a lot of people who I think would be a little flukish when it comes to this mental health stuff, but Adrien Broner, I'm actually gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he's honestly being honest, and he really does need help. And I hope he does, like, really, like, I pray to God that he gets the help that he needs. and then maybe come back. If not, man, I don't know. Maybe try to start a stand-up. I think he'd be funny stand-up guy. Once again, I do genuinely think he's a hilarious dude. But let's go to a more positive route, which is we got a rematch, y'all. We got a freaking rematch. Boxing has had some fights recently, but it hasn't been like, you know, like, was it May and June, where we was getting fight after fight after fight after fight, and they all was delivering. So it was kind of a bit of a layoff. Now we're starting to pick a little bit back up. You know, we got this fight, then we got Triple G next month. And I'm so hyped for this fight, which is a rematch between Anthony Joshua versus Alexander Usyk. Now, this fight was supposed to happen like a little bit sooner, a few months before this day, this week, but we already know what happened with the Ukraine, and you know, he eventually had to pull out, and you know, he had to fight for his country, which is most respect. Now, it's time. I've seen Usyk recently. The man looks big. He's gained some weight, which obviously one means he's clearly staying at heavyweight and he's trying to fill out the weight class. I don't know how that necessarily is gonna look for him though. I think what he did in the first fight was masterful. I picked him to win, and I thought he was gonna win because he's the better boxer, and I thought Anthony Joshua was gonna come out and try to outbox him. I didn't think he was gonna try to slug him, so I didn't think that was gonna really go his way. Now, it's very, very, I'm gonna say tough for Alexander Usyk to be able to, I will say, redo this, because I've always said it's easy to beat. I'm not gonna say it's easy. It's easier to beat a great person once, but it's the toughest challenge in the world to beat a great person twice. A lot of people are not fans of Anthony Joshua. I am a fan. I do think he's a very talented boxer. I don't think he's like an all-time great, but I do think he's a great fighter for this generation. He can beat 99% of the top competitors in the heavyweight division. And the 1% being obviously, you know, Usyk, Tyson, and possibly Wilder. I do think he has a chance versus Wilder, but Wilder can also like kill him. So that's a whole nother conversation. However, we've seen him in a rematch, and we've seen that he's a smart fighter. He does adjust, and he can adjust. So if you look at the Andy Ruiz fight, where he obviously dropped Ruiz, got a little happy foot, and then got knocked down, and then eventually knocked out. Now we're gonna see him get outboxed and see how he responds to that, because we saw what happened in the second fight between Ruiz versus Joshua. Joshua outboxed him. I'm telling you right now, if he goes in with the plan to outbox him, outbox Alexander Usyk, it's gonna end the same way and he's gonna lose. I do think though, if he takes a bit of that game plan towards the middle rounds, where he started to beat up that body of Usyk, and he started to hurt him a little bit with the body shots, and start to become a little bit more aggressive and turn into a dogfight, he can get slept because he did get hurt by Usyk. However, I do believe he also has the power to hurt Usyk as well. I think if he makes it dirty, doesn't try to stay on the outside, close the distance. I know he has the longer range, he's the bigger fighter. However, he is the stronger fighter. He needs to weigh on him a little bit, put his weight on him, tie him up, make it dirty. And then I think he has a very good shot at winning this fight. So it depends on this, obviously, it depends on the styles and how he comes out to fight. If he tries to outbox him, Usyk will just pick him apart. The awkward movement, the beautiful jab that he has. I mean, the guy can switch stances. The guy's a very talented boxer. And realistically, like, he might go down to all-time great. And I already think he's one of the greatest cruiserweights ever. So, I mean, it's a tough fight, but for both men. However, I'm still going to favor my guy, Alexander Usyk, and think that he still win by decision. I think that Joshua's still gonna come in and try to outbox him, and I think by the time he figures out that, all right, bro, this is not working, it's gonna be too late, and Usyk is still gonna be able to, not even say pick him apart, but still be able to jab, get out the way, use that footwork and that outside step, stay on his outside foot, and be able to land some beautiful shots towards Joshua, and Joshua is just not gonna be able to adjust mid-fight. He can adjust after fights, but I don't think he's great at in-ring adjustment. That's one thing that makes Floyd Mayweather like one of the greatest ever. What makes Muhammad Ali one of the greatest ever. You can adjust in the fight. That's the most important trait. All right, you gotta be able to adjust because you don't know what people are gonna come out with. So I mean, like I said, that's the route I'm going. Alexander Usyk is gonna retain his belt, and now we have to also think about what's gonna be next. Deontay Wilder is out there and he has a fight booked. If Deontay Wilder wins his fight, whoever is winning, because apparently Tyson Fury is retired. I call BS, but he just vacated a belt, so maybe he's honestly being truthful. And if he is being truthful, congrats to you. You will be a Hall of Famer. And I mean, good career. Could have been better, obviously, with fighting, you know, people like Usyk and then fighting Joshua, just getting more names on your belt so you can really solidify yourself as a top 10 heavyweight great. And I do think personally, skill for skill, style for style, I do think Tyson is the top 10 heavyweight ever. However, his resume is very weak compared to a lot of the all-time greats, which I have to respect. But yeah, whoever wins this fight should fight Deontay Wilder next, and we need to see these guys fight. What makes this interesting too, if they do fight Deontay Wilder, let's say Usyk fights Deontay Wilder, that is an amazing fight. And we already know Usyk can box the circles out of him, but can he take Wilder's punch? And what weight is he gonna come in at? You just don't know, because there's gonna be so many different avenues of how that fight could possibly go. I would love to see it, but honestly, I don't care who wins. If Anthony Joshua wins, I wanna see Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. Like, it's whoever wins needs to fight Wilder, and we need to see it happen next year. So that's what I'm hoping, that's what I'm banking on. But like I said, I think Usyk is gonna win, and then we're going to see Usyk versus Wilder, and that is going to be fireworks. But tell me what you think. As always, you already know this is your boy Showtime, and this is Showtime's Fight Form. Make sure you stay blessed.